The first bell had already rung when Emma Hale stepped quietly through the school's front doors, clutching her books close to her chest like a shield. She always did that. It wasn't fear exactly, she just hated attention. The hallways of Crescent Ridge High were loud, full of chaotic teenage noise. Lockers slamming, laughter bouncing off the walls, shoes skidding against the floors. But Emma walked through it with her head down, long chestnut hair falling like a curtain around her face. Some people called her shy, others said she was invisible. And honestly, Emma preferred it that way. Being invisible meant being safe. No one knew her past, no one knew her father, no one knew the truth she carried quietly in her heartbeat. No one knew the fire she tried desperately to keep buried. They saw only the polite, quiet girl who never caused trouble. But that morning, deep inside, she felt something off, like air thickening before a storm. Rocco DeSantis arrived only seconds after her. Everyone always knew when he showed up because the hallway shifted. Conversations stopped. People moved out of the way. A small circle always formed around him, like a magnetic field. Tall, broad-shouldered, with jet black hair and a jaw so sharp it looked carved from stone, Rocco walked like he owned the building, and maybe in a way he did. His father was Leon DeSantis, the man rumored to control half the city from the shadows. Some called him a businessman. Others called him something darker, something that made people lower their voices. Mafia, syndicate, underworld boss. Whatever the word, everyone understood one thing: you never crossed a DeSantis. Not unless you wanted to disappear. Rocco liked that power, lived in it, wore it like armor. His expensive jacket, his gold chain flashing under the fluorescent school lights, the cold confidence in his eyes. He didn't look like a high school senior. He looked like someone who'd already tasted danger and decided he liked the flavor. And today, for reasons the universe had not bothered to explain, Rocco's attention landed on the one girl who wanted attention the least. Emma. She felt it before she saw it, his gaze burning into her back as she moved toward her locker. Her shoulders tightened, her grip on her books shifted, her heartbeat picked up, a small tremor rolling through her body. Daisy, her small white dog, waited for her every afternoon outside the school gate. Daisy was her comfort, her shadow, her tiny piece of home in a world that felt constantly too big. Emma sometimes whispered to her at night, telling her the things she couldn't tell anyone else. But today her thoughts were too scrambled to think of anything except the sudden, sharp heaviness of danger nearby. Rocco leaned against the wall with his crew, Drake, Vince, and Matteo, all dressed like they had stepped out of a designer streetwear photo shoot. They weren't just bullies, they were kings of the school jungle, and today the king was bored. His eyes stayed locked on Emma as she reached her locker. She tried to ignore him, tried to pretend she didn't see the predator watching her. But predators liked when prey pretended to be calm. It made the game more fun. Rocco pushed off the wall and walked toward her, his sneakers silent on the floors, his presence anything but. "Well, well," he said, voice dropping low, mocking, smooth with arrogance, "if it isn't little Miss Quiet." Emma swallowed hard. She didn't turn, didn't respond. Silence had always been her safest weapon. Rocco smirked. "Ignoring me? Really?" His hand slammed against the locker door beside her, metal ringing loudly. Emma flinched despite herself. Her shoulders shook. Slowly she looked up at him, eyes wide and hesitant. That only made him grin wider. "That's better." A crowd started to form at a distance, students observing but unwilling to step in. No one ever stepped in when it came to Rocco. Emma's voice came out soft, barely audible. I don't want any trouble." "You don't get to choose that," Rocco replied. "You walk around like you're too good for this place, too good for anyone to talk to, too good to even be seen." He leaned in closer. "That annoys me." Emma shook her head, fear tightening around her lungs. I'm just trying to go to class." Vince laughed behind Rocco. "Bro, she's shaking." Rocco reached forward and plucked her notebook from her hands. What's this, your little diary? Emma grabbed for it, panic rising, but Rocco easily pulled it out of reach. Relax, I'm not going to break it. He paused. Yet. A switch flipped inside Emma, fear, humiliation, frustration, all crashing together. She had trained years with her father in secret, but those skills lived in a part of her she never dared to touch at school. She didn't want to hurt people. She didn't want to be her father's daughter in that way. She just wanted to blend in. But standing in front of Rocco, watching him flip through her notebook with that cruel smirk, she felt the old instinct stirring in her muscles. Her hands curled into fists without her permission. Rocco saw that and loved it. Oh? You got a little spark in you? Give it back, Emma said, voice firmer now. He raised an eyebrow. Say please. Her jaw tightened. She wouldn't. Rocco's grin faded. Wrong answer. He shoved her notebook into Drake's hands and grabbed Emma's arm, tightening his grip just enough to send fear slicing through her. Emma stiffened. Pain shot up her arm. His friends laughed. Students watched from further down the hall, but no one moved. No one ever moved. That was the moment Emma realized something terrifyingly simple. Rocco wasn't going to leave her alone. Not today. Maybe not ever. He had chosen her, decided she was his entertainment for the morning. And predators rarely stopped unless something stronger forced them to. Before he could escalate further, the bell rang again. Teachers began stepping into the hall, and Rocco reluctantly released her, though not before leaning.